What's up, guys? And we're back on Subplex for this episode. And it's as you can see in the title, it's a showcase of a defense that you could use for your spawners. There's been a lot of spawner defenses over the past couple of weeks on faction servers, and I think this one's a bit better than the ones I've seen so far. There are a lot of flaws in some of these defenses, and I'll explain some of them and I'll show you mine and compare the two. Now, don't worry about this dirt here. It was for an early design and just was too lazy to get rid of it. You could change this to whatever block you would like. So, most defenses that I see with spawner protection, I remember looking at Abusive Admin's base on World Download, and what he had originally, he changed this a bit now, it kind of looks like my defense, but it's a bit different, is they'll just have water coming down, and it'll protect the spawners, but what it does is it drops the spawn rates by a ton. So it makes your grinder much more inefficient, and it's not as good as it could be with, you know, like this spawn, especially with an animate spawner, it'll shoot them around, on some servers, not all servers. The efficiency is dropped when there's this water block here, because it's just one more block of spawning space that's removed, and these two blocks right here are the most likely, or the highest spawning areas for spawners. So, my defense kind of works like that, but it's a bit more improved. Oh, let me just fix this water here. It's a combination of things. So, let's start off at the bottom, and we'll go to the top. So here we have a little bit of sponge and water, and this is to stop people from upward slab busting the spawners pillars. Now, if there wasn't any water here or sponge, they'd be able to bust through at the hopper level, whatever, and slab bust upwards. All you need is one shot if it was accurate enough, and it'd hit this whole spawner pillar, or just a small bit of it. Either way, it'd do damage and need those spawners. So with this, it stops that completely, because you know also this 2-block gap here, that helps a lot. So even if they were somehow able to shoot a scatter upwards, they'd only blow up this block, and this block, even with a scatter shot, usually. So that'll leave your spawner pillar right here safe. For the base design I'm doing on gontroller next map, it'll involve only 4 high spawner pillars. It involves a special wall, but I really don't want to release that right now. So yeah, this spawner pillar could be as high as you would like, whatever, it doesn't matter. So yeah, this bottom part right here stops upward slab busting, doesn't decrease the efficiency at all, and it's fine how it is. Now, this is just the spawners, these diamond blocks here. And then we have the thing that people have been using a lot, which is the dispensers. Now, I believe what the issue was for, who was it that got raided on gontroller? Breach. The issue with their base is to be able to activate these, they had to be manually activated. So, by the time Six Nation had got through all their roof layers, and actually onto this, part, they'd blown up the spawners and everything, and because Breach wasn't on at the time, I believe, they weren't able to water their spawners to stop them from being blown up. So what this defense does, is it'll automatically water every so ticks of delay that you put on it. We're using a hopper timer with, I believe, 30 items. Now you can increase this as much as you would like. I just have it at this for now, and I'd like it to be at this, for my base, this is probably when it's going to be, for delay in between pulses. Basically, the problem with, constantly watered spawners, or spawners that get watered upon, breaching the last wall, is that the spawners can be used as backboards. Now I'll tell you something else about why these spawners are so oddly placed out in a second, but we'll start off with the backboard part. Now, a backboard can be used to either upward slab bust or downward slab bust. Now, if they downward slab bust onto your hoppers, you just lost a ton of hoppers. Depends on how you have your hoppers set up. If you have a pure hopper floor, that's all of your hoppers gone. And then they could put alts in your hopper room, or in your collection room, if you decide to put your spawners back up on that exact same area. And if you don't, then whatever, they still got alts logged in your base, so that's not so good. Now if you have rooms above your spawner room, they can slab bust upwards through the base and get into those rooms. So that's what the flaw with watered spawners is. Now with this, the spawners are staggered, so after blowing through all 40 walls or whatever it be, they can blow up this pillar. Then these are all watered. These all get watered every however many seconds it takes. So these are all watered and they can't do anything because there's just water covering this whole room. And even if they send in a scatter shot, it's not going to do anything. You could also have this whole roof made out of hopper or dispensers, so it'll water the entire room. So there won't be a little air pocket right there that if a scatter shot got in, it would hit the spawner. Now, if it had been completely watered the entire time, then they could backboard off of it, getting into your hopper room, whatever it be. Now, if you wanted to have it completely watered all the time, or have it watered upon breaching of your last wall, then you'd want to have your spawner room at the bottom of your base. Now, this works best for sky bases because the bottom of your base is around Y100, but it'd still be around Y150 for enderman spawners because they need that 50 block space. And then you add your collection room height, whatever. So then all they're getting into is your collection room, and that's it. So with this, if they do slab bust downwards off of this, they only have about a 30-second time to do that. 30 seconds to do that. So they have to perfectly time every shot if they want to slab bust downwards through the base, which can be very hard. Now, all they're going to get into with the design that I'm doing for my base is the collection room. So that's perfectly fine, to an extent, but, you know. So, I'm going to show you how it works, first of all. So you have this nice little hopper timer. I call it the Etho timer because this is where I saw it. I was on his channel. You have these two pistons here that push the redstone block back and forth. You have comparators here that whenever this side runs out of items, there will no longer be a redstone signal. The redstone signal's off when there are items going into it, but when they're leaving, the redstone signal goes on, pushing the piston this way and activating the redstone here. So let's put it into action. Let's go ahead and sit here and watch. Any second now. So as you see, most of these are dispensed. I don't know why these ones weren't. Oh, here. So all of them are watered now. And you can water this section here with just floating water blocks like this, because it does reach here. So then that's fully watered. No way to get through that. And then every couple of seconds, there we go. This little water bit does get ruined, but even if there's air blocks below this, they're not going to flow down because of the sponge. Same with this area right here. So let's go ahead and wait. So it got turned off. So once it turns back on again, it's going to activate it. So it takes 2 pulses back. Like, once it comes back, it's going to activate them. Then it has to go this way again, then come back for it to get deactivated. So it is watered for a decent amount of time. If you remove more items from the hopper, then it goes quicker. But it's just depending on how fast you want it to go. The faster it is, the harder it is to slab bust downwards off of and into your spawner room. But yeah. So that's about it for this spawner defense. I'm probably going to be using this on my future base designs, and if I find a revised version of it, I'll definitely release that. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye bye, guys.